A few years ago in the early 2010s, over a period of 5 years or so, Al Pacino went through an old geezer period, starring in films in which he usually played a burnt-out, aged, former it person becoming somewhat rehabilitated and rejuvenated by some recent events. These movies, like Manglehorn and The Humbling, weren't well received by critics, bar one really, Danny Collins, so I decided to check this one out. Inspired by true events, it follows Pacino's character Danny, who is a burnt-out, aged former rocker who becomes somewhat rehabilitated and rejuvenated when he receives a letter from John Lennon, intended for him decades earlier when he was up and coming, and it just never reached him. In the letter, Lennon asks Colin to phone him, an offer which Danny obviously would have had he received the letter, and he laments that his life could have been so different had the letter reached him. Now a has-been, whose cheating trophy wife, five-star mansion and top-tier Mercedes brings him no joy, Danny finds himself inspired by the letter to make changes to his life, to reconnect with the son he never knew, to write a new song, and just to enjoy life to the fullest before he checks out. So as you can see, it isn't the most original movie out there, not helped that it follows two very similar films. But the thing is, due to a combination of different elements like a decently witty script and an almost constant undercurrent of music which ignites the pacing with a bubbly and whimsical feel, Danny Collins comes off as charming, enjoyable, if not a lightweight movie. I had a smile on my face throughout most of it, and it's mainly because of the surprise addition of Al Pacino actually showing up to work. He was really appealing and charismatic in the film, matching the sparkling tone the film emitted. There's life in his performance, this zest that was not present in, say, The Son of No One, Hangman or Paterno. So often lethargic and sluggish in recent pictures, with his dialogue delivery mumbled and slow and his body movements languid and exhausted, Pacino was a delight to watch in this film. He really looked like he was enjoying himself. Perhaps it was because he saw a bit of himself in Danny, or his friend Bobby Cannavale co-starred. Whatever it was, this was a Pacino that was alert, witty, snazzy. I'm not saying it's a comeback role, a phrase that people often use when a veteran actor gives a half-decent performance. I mean, if this was made during Pacino's prime, we wouldn't even be talking about the acting, but when surrounded by such mediocre projects, Danny Collins, both the film and the performance, stands out. The acting all round was fun to watch. It was nice seeing Pacino and Christopher Plummer together again after Michael Mann's The Insider, and Bobby Cannavale and Annette Bening had good chemistry with Pacino too. This is a movie for Pacino fans. Even though some might be offended to be compared to the bar audience that wants Collins to replay his classics over new material, I feel like the movie is almost a prescription to those who want to see a modern Pacino film where he is simply acting. Remove the novelty of seeing the man do his thing, and the movie doesn't have too much to offer, but as a huge fan of Pacino, I can safely say this was a very enjoyable little film. I give it a 7 out of 10.